Welcome one, welcome all to the championship show for the College World Series. It's Jack DeLongball. It's Andrew Rogers. He runs the pencil. It's DeLongchamps, but I'm just going to make a ton of different plays on his last name today because you know what? A lot of plays are going to be made this weekend, and we're about to have some fun.
Come on. If you start off with that, you lead off with a baseball pun, you've already got me hook, line, and sinker, dude.
Yeah. Make sure you sharpen that pencil before you try to use it, though. Just so you know. I don't know how far you're going to get with that dull edge.
Nah, they never even see it. You just hold it up top. Come on, erasers to the face. All cool.
I'm all for it. Jack DeLongchamps, happy to have you with me again here on Rogers Rulez. We're happy to have all of you joining the show. We had an incredible episode on Wednesday, broke down a lot that was kind of transpiring in one day. We had 3 baseball games, and all of a sudden, 2 days off later, and here we are. 2 days off, though, in the College World Series. Are you kidding? When was the last time we're talking about 2 arguably 1 seeds that are just making their run through it, and poof, you get some time off on your hands, you get to rest your voice, and now it's time to play some College World Series final baseball.
If we've got listeners, not viewers at home, I hope to sound like a completely different person today. But you're right, Andrew. Like, I think this year and last, and maybe it's a testament to the college baseball landscape that we're experiencing today, but when's the last time that we can, without a shadow of a doubt, go, this is it. These are the 2 best teams in the country, not even close. LSU and Florida last year. This season, obviously.
But LSU lost last year, too. They may have been, on paper, what we thought was the number 1 team, but still going through this journey.
Like running the gauntlet to get here.
Just going.
Yeah, I didn't even, I'm talking from, February on, right? Like, you can make an argument last year. Wake Forest was one of those teams, maybe over Florida, but, this year, from start to finish, A&M and Tennessee have been the heavyweight fighters, right? Like, they have gone to war, and it's cool to see in this setting, we have 7 or 8 professional baseball players that we're taking and watching this weekend. So I'm beyond stoked, dude.
Let's words are hard right now,
dude.
They've been hard this whole time. I was walking over here.
Yeah.
What are you about to say here?
We're being around me. What's up, brother?
Yeah. Special teams, special plays, special players. No. I was going to say pricing of tickets, but then I was thinking about playing the game, and words just kind of run together. Sometimes it gets difficult later on in the week, but major league pricing, right?
Dude.
Would be out the wazoo for a game like this. And, for as far as I've seen, tickets have been reasonably priced. Goodness gracious.
No, we're good. Dude, here's the deal. I'm with you.
Let me take a swig of water.
You. Hey, Rogers rule number 1. This isn't supposed to be.
You can't make fun of me.
This is your show. This is your dojo. No one cares. But to your point, I drove to the ballpark. I wanted to go see Old Rosenblatt this morning before coming and seeing the Golden Spikes Award guys. So I get in my camper, the Teal Ninja, at around 8 o'clock this morning.
Teal Ninja.
There were people lined trying to get standing room ticket onlys this morning, right? So I'm not sure what those prices look like. All I know that the dedication for this event this weekend, right? Omaha got a big win with these 2 fan bases. I'm expecting a war zone tonight because you're right. I think ticket prices like we've seen on Twitter and online going kind of crazy skyrocket. I haven't necessarily seen those here flops on the ground, but to me, you're going to look at 2 really rabid fan bases yearning for those programs' first ever national championship. And I think they're going to vocalize that all weekend long.
Well, and I want to set the stage for what we're about to see here too, because people at home are probably like, Andrew, the tickets are still like $350, $400. Right. But when you're thinking about going to watch your team play in the World Series at the major league level, you're paying that times 3 to go watch your boys play. Here, it's reasonably priced for the people that are diehard Aggie Vols fans that are dying to see their team win. And I mean dying. They have been through the ringer year after year. Who's going to get there first, Jack?
Dude, it's a really good question, Andrew. For me, it was so interesting. I think we talked about it on Wednesday, this A&M team, right? They were the best team in the country. They were undefeated through 22 games. They, to me, were so complete in all 3 phases. But they limp into the World Series, quite literally limped in. They've got banged up guys all throughout their lineup. But all of a sudden, the narrative changed, right? They went from being the hunter to the hunted, right? All of a sudden, we don't expect A&M to make a run. They've got the crutch of saying, hey, Braden Montgomery's quite literally on crutches, right? Chase Laviolette, Lord Tubbington, who's fighting through some crazy hamstring problems. Like, all of a sudden, like, you look up and they go, wait, they haven't lost in the NCAA tournament? On the flip side, when you look at A&M, when they get beat by Evansville in game 2 and you lead into game 3, there was a lot of noise. I think especially not necessarily in Knoxville beat writers or dudes that have been around that program for a long time covering this awesome program. But the conversation of if you lose and you don't get to Omaha, is this a failure? Was this off or not?
Always
right?
Is the question.
And Tony Vitello broke it down in the most authentic way as possible. And he kind of joked and he said, Noah Webster, because you guys don't know that his first name's Noah. Hilarious. This is how he defines success. How we define success I don't care what you think, right? There was conversations about how he couldn't come. He couldn't win here, right? He took the best regular season team of all time. They didn't even get here. A lot of question marks about their ability to win here. Have they proved the naysayers wrong yet? Like, seriously, what are we doing? That's a long-winded answer to say I don't know. I really don't know. I can break it down logically and tell you what I think is going to happen, right? Ryan Prager thrown for A&M tonight. That's their dog, their ace. In my opinion, it's must win for A&M tonight. Whereas Tennessee's got the depth and the pitching to come out of it and win 2 in a row Sunday, Monday. To me, your answer will be told tonight. If Tennessee wins tonight, it's 2 in a queue, and they're heading to Knoxville to parade. If A&M wins tonight, I think we go game 3.
Well, Omaha is rooting for 3 games and not against, Aggie fans or Volunteer fans. Here we like baseball and we want it to last. Let's leave a lasting impact. Let's play 3 games. Let's get that excitement rolling. Now, I thought you placed like a lot of really good nuggets into that response, because the way I thought about this series is who's going to make the move at the right time? Yeah. Who's going to be smarter in terms of maybe research and analytics? Who's going to maybe get a little bit cute in their lineup to throw off their opponent? Speaking of research and analytics, quickly, in baseball, teams advance by using research, statistics, and intuition. At Weitz, they manage your money the same way. Learn more at weitz.investments/CWS to learn more. But do you think that has anything to play into when you have the cream of the crop, when you have 2 absolute dogs in the fight, that these managers are thinking, at some point, I got to outsmart this other one?
Yeah, I think, and I actually want to shout out your sponsor, Weitz, too. Take care of my money. I'm absolutely clueless with it, because I think you're advising, right? Like, your analytical breakdown that you kind of led into that is really interesting. I actually talked to Max Weiner, the associate head coach and pitching coach at Texas A&M. Guys, he's 29 years old. If you don't know Max Weiner, you're going to. He's going to be
on the 30 under 30 list.
Facts. Clean beard, great mullet. Is an insane combo. But when
Poor
you talk,
last name.
Yeah, man. But when you talk to him, like, it's so inspiring to talk ball with him, because his analytics they're so devout to it. They don't even call them pitches. Like, fastball, slider, changeup, breaking ball. They don't even mention those names. He goes, we don't title those pitches anymore. He goes, we look at analytically what it tells us to do in this spot, and our guys abide by it. That's that buy-in, right? So to answer your question, these coaching staffs, right, there's been this whole conversation about mentor-mentee, right, at TCU. Jim Schlossnagle actually hired on Tony Vitello. So that was like his first big-time Power 5 job. So you're going to see 2 guys wanting to beat the heck out of each other, right, because there's that pride aspect of it. But the guys around him, right, whether it is Max Weiner at A&M or Josh Elander at Tennessee, there are stars on these coaching staffs that will become household names. So when I talk about the analytic breakdown, I think that's kind of what we all want too, right? I want to get 3 games just because I selfishly don't want to leave. But you also want to see someone go out and win it instead of in years past maybe a team losing it. And then there's kind of that obstacle to jump over. Well, hey, you remember that aspect of the game. So I think by the end of the week, we won't really have to be questioning decision makings in that dugout, because we're talking about 2 of the best coaching staffs in the country.
Now, it's a warm one outside too, so people will have to deal with those temperatures. But all jokes aside, on Coach Weiner, a beast, absolute beast. Like, the way that he thinks, the way that he sees the game, he wouldn't be in the role that he's in if it weren't for his knowledge of a pitching staff.
Brilliant. Yeah.
And shoot, You could see him be a head coach, and
it's coming. Him and
in a
Josh
couple of
Elander
years.
will be Power 5 head coaches in the next half decade.
Now, I'm not great with direction. The wind, I think, could be blowing in. What are we looking at
on
with
my
these
walk
trees?
in? On my walk in, I saw him howling out, which would be a first
Never
in
mind.
about a week.
Never mind. See,
But-
that's why I didn't go to school for meteorology. That's why Jack chose to take that route, right?
Yeah, dude. I think meteorology, unlike baseball, the law of averages really favor you in meteorology school. So yeah, I wish
You could hit below the Mendoza line and
Yeah.
keep your job.
It's fantastic. I just can't spell meteorology, so that would be a problem for me. But no, I did actually walking in. We were kind of talking about how, like, I think we mentioned it on Wednesday too. It remained true throughout the week. Hypothetical investors out there, sports gamblers, every money line favorite has won every game in this tournament so far. So it's been a little bit chalk.
Wow.
Insanity. When you look at the total today, it's set at about 11.5 runs. We told you A&M is going to start their ace. Ryan Prager is a southpaw lefty. Tennessee is going to go to that kind of starter situation with Chris Stamos and AJ Causey. The over-under set at 11.5. The wind howling out. I'm curious if this is one of those ball games where it kind of looks like a football score.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like these
Uh-huh.
are two really physical offenses. We haven't quite seen a shootout like that.
No, I haven't seen a lot of pop.
Since that Tennessee-Florida State game on opening day.
Yeah, and I like that you brought up the pitching once again because, when I talked about these teams getting cute, I just wonder if there's a lot of different ways these teams can go about decision making. And when you're talking about a lot of pop that could come early on, you may see teams get deep into their bullpen after like 2 1/3. If it gets out of hand a little bit, you're talking about Stamos and Cortez, who or Prager rather, who are absolute beasts. But then you look at the back end of like what could come in 2 and 3, and Beam and Cortez and Lampkin, who's been
good.
He's been very good here.
Good.
I mean, when pitchers show up like Lampkin has, you don't want to see this guy in game 3 anyway. And then Sechrist, right? I get that right?
Yeah, you're perfect.
Yeah.
Right on
So, like, these are the 3 guys that most likely are going to take the bump day after day. So if you go to 3, not a lot of issues. But if you have to use, say, your bullpen early, now you're relying on, let's just say Tennessee, for example, is the one that has to pull Stamos early. Now you're relying on Beam to go his normal 7
Right.
innings.
You have to have
right?
it, right?
Because you need your bullpen a little bit rested in case of a 3. And then same thing with Sechrist. I mean, yeah, you could go back and, throw another starter late in the game, but do you really want to be in that situation? You want to be ahead of the curve. So though these teams have great pitching depth, if you get beat up early, it's going to change everything.
It's a really valid point. So for those who aren't aware, Xander Sechrist has been the Sunday guy for Tennessee all year. In his last 6 appearances, his last 6 starts, there hasn't been a guy in the country with better numbers. Right? This is a guy that was a career midweek journeyman, and this season he is channeled in, tapped in, made himself some money. This dude deserves to play professional baseball. He's been 6-0 with a 1.80 ERA in his last 6 outings. To me, he's slated on Sunday. You live and ride or die by the guys that got you here. So you go with Stamos and Causey because that's what you've done on Friday. They're 9-1 when those two towed the rubber together. So if they aren't able to get through 5 with those two, do they take Xander, the Sunday guy, and move him to today and try to go steal a win and then go, hey, Drew
winning
Beam,
game
win
1 is everything.
Yeah.
You said it with A&M, but even Volunteer fans are like, no, that needs to be us too.
Yeah, I just think because you brought up Chris Cortez as well. He threw 8 straight balls in his outing the other night. It didn't look great or clean. Guys, if you haven't heard of the name, he throws 100 miles per hour with a 91 mile per hour slider. He's bonkers. He's going to throw better. But the 2 big pieces that you're going to see if we play 3 games, if we play 33 games in the next 2 days, like Kirby Connell of Tennessee and Evan Ashenbeck, who is going to be the closer of the year, the stop of the year in college baseball, those 2 guys are going to throw every day. They're rubber band arms. They're going to throw a ton of pitches. They're really creative lefties that understand pitchability. To me, you're going to see those guys no matter what, but it's the other cast and crew of dudes on the bump that are going to play.
It's going to make or break your series.
It's going to be integral to see how they kind of, shine in these big moments.
These numbers are insane too. I'm going to read you just 3 statistics here about just runs and runs allowed. Tennessee averages 9.2 runs per game and 10 runs in the postseason. A&M averages 8.7 runs a game and 11 runs this playoffs. Then you look at Tennessee again, and they allow 4.1 runs per game, which is like, okay, how does that mirror the 11 and 5 runs in the playoffs? A&M allows 4.4 runs a game and 5 runs in the playoffs. So it's a clash of the powerhouses, like the power bats, and it's a clash of the strong arms. And it's like, who's going to give? Who's going to give in this tug of war match?
I know you asked me earlier, like it's those numbers that you dive into and you go, I don't know. Right? To me, it's almost like a Rocky Apollo Creed analogy where it's like, these are 2 heavyweight fighters that aren't going to dance around the ring. They're going to put their foot in the bucket in the middle and they're going to exchange heavyweight blows. Like, this is going to be so good.
But how early, right?
Oh,
how early are you exchanging these blows?
Right.
Should you attack right away? I mean, it all comes down to location for pitchers. You can throw 100 miles an hour. If you can't locate your fastball, that's where you throw 8 straight balls and what happens next? Same thing with hitters. Are you keeping it simple or are you trying to be a hero? And it's just who's going to find their rhythm. We saw Tennessee was able to do that early on in the series. Texas A&M, have they really been super well tested in this?
Yeah.
I mean, they've just looked really strong. And so I'm clueless. You can go into a lot of these matchups and think, I got my team.
Right.
Last year, I had my team. Now, more jokes coming with Ole Miss. Like, I'm like, I had my team.
No,
and then,
2 for 2, dude.
all of a sudden, the Mississippi State, I was like, I like T-shirts.
Well, your gut had Tennessee this year, so I'm like Rocky Top. I ride with you.
Yeah, and I don't know how you can't, though.
Yeah.
Because at some point, and I use this analogy with hockey, right? The Edmonton Oilers have come back from down 3-0. It's Edmonton's year or it's not.
Right, yeah.
And that's how I kind of feel with Tennessee. Because Tennessee has always shown up, right?
Yep.
They've always been the team to kind of chase. And it just never came together in one weekend for them. And so is this, and I know college is a lot of turnover, but is it their weekend? Is it their time or is it not?
Right.
It could just be, nope, it's not Tennessee's time. And we'll wait and see in another 20 years if Tennessee can, do something. Now, granted, they may be back next year and that could all change. But those are things I think about when you have some of the best players, some of the ones that have been through the gauntlet.
No doubt.
Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl have been through the gauntlet in Edmonton. You have guys on this Tennessee team that have been through it, have seen it from freshman year till now, or even transferred in and are like, oh my goodness, I know what Tennessee can bring. I'm lost. Yeah. I feel like I'm on a street corner and I'm trying to direct myself in a town I don't know.
I'll say it like this, and it's this idea that it's the evil empire, right? In 21 and 22, they created this persona that almost became larger than life. Christian Moore and Blake Burke were freshmen on that team that was so heavily criticized by anyone with an opinion about the sport of baseball, professionally or collegiately. It was good for the game. We got people talking about college baseball. It was magical. But because it became so drastically large, that Tennessee 22 team has already got 4 guys in the big leagues, right? 4. These were the young guys that watched, learned, stood back, absorbed. And now how have they responded, right? They've completely changed the narrative of how we kind of take in and view this Tennessee baseball team. Tony Vitello has remained himself at every turn. And where it may have rubbed people the wrong way 2 years ago, now all of a sudden, like, he's our darling. He's the national media guy, right? To me, what does that show you? That's trusting in the process. I know that the NBA fans probably are tired of hearing that, but it truly is that. So they are a part of the evil empire. We don't want to do that again, right? Like, we just want to play with that emotion and passion that we've known to grow and love. When you surround those superstars with guys that get it, that are your core background and they're the fabric of your culture, like a Kirby Caudill, like a Xander Sechrist, that are showing up to this ballpark as 5th and 6th year guys going, I just love being with my buddies, playing on the world's largest scale. That energy, just like the emotion and passion that we see on bat flips and strikeout sellies, is just as contagious. So when I see my leaders in front of me go, oh, they can slow the moment down, so can I. That's why you feel that they've got this team of destiny vibe, right? It either will or it won't be. Mm-hmm. But to me, it's because of the leadership panel that they've created. It's why they found themselves in this position this year.
You have the team of destiny against the team rallying behind their superstar, trying to get it done on both sides of the diamond. I was down there getting us some waters before the show, and I asked a Vols fan, I said, hey, Volunteers in 2? And then an Aggie fan turned around. I'm like, hey, Aggies in 2?
Yeah.
I'm trying.
It's a two-way street.
I'm trying to get the battle going. And the Aggie fan down there goes, plus 185.
Yeah,
I just laid 80
buddy.
across the border, and I'm like, all right, like, let's go. I'm all for it. These fans are bought in. Now, I asked you about managers, and like, you're somebody, and I'm fascinated by people that know more than me. And so when it comes to like how these managers think, like you are like best buds with Vitello,
right?
Well, I don't know how.
I sure hope. I feel it. I don't know if he feels the same way. But
well, I mean, he's hugging you after games.
That's pretty cool.
I'm not gonna say it, but he could be Jack's dad.
Like, dude.
At this point, and maybe your second dad.
Man
right?
Crush Monday, man. I've been very open about this.
But then you have Schloss on the other side that's been there, done that too, and has made a name for himself. So when I think about how these guys are thinking of this moment, like, you know, they're probably thinking about a million things and a billion different scenarios, but how they're going to attack it. You've been able to like get yourself knee deep into Tennessee. I don't know how much you've gotten to really know Schloss, but based on like what you've been able to find out just in your time covering these teams, how uniquely special are each of these managers
in two totally different ways?
Head coaches,
so widely respected by like everyone around them. Schloss maybe with a little bit of more like an animated like delivery, whereas Tony is like the ultimate fighter for his guys, and it's like taking it out on those around him versus where Schloss is like hard on his own dudes. But both so widely respected. Getting to know both of them and Coach Vitello really well is too. This week is so fun because yesterday and Thursday, the 2 days off, that was great for all of us. I think was
which
hell.
Really wasn't days off. For
no, at all.
It was posting content and catching up.
Right, because it was hell for them because they were too busy talking to us. They just wanted to get back to the field. Watching their practices yesterday, it's like you could see like that anxiety or stress for them completely disappear because they were back doing the thing that they loved, right? I'm sure having to talk to media and ESPN and all these different conversations, it's just noise to them. I think they're to their core are very similar. And when they woke up today, they said, I get to go to a ballpark. I get to finally quiet the noise. I get to go do my thing with my boys. Let's go ride. So you're going to see two guys that I think are, instead of like have built this moment up, like, I got to go win this thing. It's almost the complete opposite. It's like that's their happy place. Everything gets quiet and they get tunnel vision. So you're going to see two guys dialed in, laser focused, and really excited to get the hell, frankly, away from people putting mics on their face, right?
Well, they're having a good time, Max. Regardless of, you know, what Jack may be telling you at home, these guys love, you know, all of the stuff that's happening to them now because it comes with the territory. They'd rather be in this territory than be sitting on their couch right now.
No, I don't mean it as a bad. Like, it's just like there's so many engagements. They just want to get back to the baseball.
It's keeping a schedule. It's keeping a tight agenda. And how often are they actually thinking about the moment when they have built up to the moment? At some point, you also kind of want to be that team in a lot of ways where you lose at some point in this tournament and you just keep playing up until your day. Where you only have 1 day off and you feel like you have a little bit of rhythm. Now, do you want your guys well rested? Of course. Right. You want your pitchers good to go in a series like this. But it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun out in the Omaha Baseball Village, too. I don't know how much you've been able to get out there, but just on the walk over here, I mean, I saw the Napoleon Dynamite lookalike. Talked with him a little bit, and I asked if he had tots for lunch. So he did.
Did he have them in his cargo pockets?
Yeah, I asked if you would share any, and he goes, "No, I'm freaking starving. What do you think?" And I'm like, "Fair enough, fair enough."
Spot on.
Freaking starving. It was good. And then, you know, seeing like just all these families out here and kids, you know, I never had the opportunity to come to the College World Series, nor because that's not what I was traveling for. Right. You know, a lot of us, they grew up in a different state. You're playing baseball in other states. You're not playing tournaments in Omaha at the time. But being able to experience like, or seeing how these people experience this. I was talking to my wife the other day and I just go, you know what? I can't wait until we have kids and I can take them to the College World Series because I see like the lifelong memories that have been stored here, starting at Rosenblatt. You said you were there. You probably saw a lot of great history of the event and bringing it over to Charles Schwab Field. And like, I call it CWS's new toy. Yeah. Right. I like that. And just knowing what this ballpark can spark memories for other people. And I don't know, maybe it expands, maybe it is Rosenblatt and find a new location in Omaha somewhere else. Who knows what's going to happen someday? But I'm just like, the stories that you get here, all said and done, you have people in the ballpark. You're getting great stories with these guys, the family stories. the player-to-player stories. Right. I'm out in the chaos. And,
organized chaos.
Yeah, sure. We'll call it that. And asking, weird questions, hanging out with the Jello shot folks. You can call it my type of people.
My people.
But there's just so many great stories here. I just don't know of a better event.
No, it's Disneyland for baseball junkies. And it is the most, in my opinion, romantic sport on the planet because of the memories that are so deeply rooted in events like this, right? You're excited to take your kids to the ballpark. There is these special moments and memories that you will hold on to for forever. And they're so cherished here. And I think that's what makes it so unique.
Love the hat, by the way. I pointed that out earlier. 1992. Yeah. Jack finds this hat somewhere, a vintage store.
It was the vintage. Was it the View or no? The Stand, Trade Sports Stand. Right next to Old Rosenblatt, right across the street from the zoo.
Is that Sasha's our producer? Is that David's favorite store? David from Hurrdat Sports.
Coach us up, Sasha.
Help us out.
Come on, Sasha.
Sets coming on.
Let's see if I got. Oh, I did. I got it right.
Let's go.
Nailed it. Is that David's favorite store?
I'm pretty sure it is.
So we have a guy on our team that dresses like your hat.
I'm obsessed. Oh, yeah. No, I'm obsessed with the old school vintage stuff.
Speaking of. Just gonna sneak this little nugget in here. Charlie Hustle has some really, really cool vintage inspired stuff coming out in a week. On the 27th.
We love nuggets.
Yes.
Charlie Hustle.
Yes.
So you asked me if all right. You asked me if I had been to Baseball Village yet. I didn't have it built into the budget. I walked through here on the way over, and there's a reason. It is addicting over there, man. Yeah. Now Charlie Hustle's going to take a couple of $100 more from you, but
it's better than the casino or any other place.
In my dumb brain, I justify it as but this is my memory from this. You know what I mean?
If you pick up something for your significant other, then it looks better.
There, I did do that. Good.
See, power move.
Yeah, pat on the back for us, right? Let's go.
I still haven't shopped for me yet. I don't know why. I've shopped for 6 or 7 people. I'm like, hey guys, you guys want some stuff? This is so cool. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to spend $45 on a shirt yet, but
that's adulting. That's adulting. It's the gift of giving, right? Good for you.
Oh my goodness, I love it. But just a super fun event. Now, these two teams met previously during the SEC tournament. Volunteers win 7-4. So a close one. They have the undisputed conference title. Texas A&M comes into College World Series play. They were 7-14 all time. Right. Okay. Then Schloss gets here, and it's now we're 17-4 in postseason play. We're 5-2 in College World Series games. So, what do you learn? A guy that played, right? What do you learn from one game?
Yeah.
Or can you learn from that one game?
No, and I think it'd be difficult. These coaches have spent hours upon hours building out scouting reports and video to prepare for these games. That SEC tournament game, I'm going to say this is a grain of salt. Don't throw darts at my face quite yet, but hear me out. The SEC tournament, right, is huge, and then Tennessee walks away champions, and they get the rings, and they'll have the banner, and it's a beautiful deal. Neither of those teams cared. I mean this so seriously. It did not matter. Tennessee was going to be the number 1 national seed no matter what. You mentioned those numbers in the College World Series. That's when they had to be playing their best. A&M goes 2-2. They get bounced out of the SEC tournament. Did not bother them in the slightest, clearly. They get to go home. They get to rest up, freshen up arms, and they go to battle. Now, what is interesting in that loss, 7-4 in Hoover, I was actually in attendance for it. Ryan Prager did pitch in that game. So there is this idea of a hitter as that second, third time through the lineup. Mm-hmm. I've seen the changeup. I've seen the slider. All right, cool. I slow it down a little bit. There is a little bit that you'll take from that, but that was not the Ryan Prager that we've seen here in the College World Series. So there is this, I would be willing to bet those Tennessee internal conversations were different animal. I don't even want you, they're going to go dial up his best outings of the year. They'll go dial up the 5 2/3 of no-hit baseball that he did last week. So that game to me is a wash, just because I know what those teams look, feel, and think towards the SEC tournament, right? Those guys are going in as a top 4 national seed no matter what. LSU went in playing with house money, having to win to even just get in the tournament. So they're playing with their hair on fire. So the SEC tournament is incredible baseball, but that matchup, don't expect these coaches to pull for their sole scouting report.
Totally new series is essentially what Jack is saying. And I can't wait for it. I know you can't wait for it at home. A total buildup. Now, before I let you go, Jack, before I send you away, because I'll never I shouldn't say I'll never see you again, but it's gonna be hard.
Got so deep.
It's gonna be so hard when you're in there and I'm outside and I'm just like looking. Like I'm gonna be the kid in Angels in the Outfield that's sitting in the tree.
Oh, he's
like,
on the bucket. He's on the bucket.
Right? He's just trying to like see a game, and I'm gonna get yelled at by security, and that's gonna be me out on the outside of the ballpark. But I wanted to ask you one thing. Okay, you've experienced the College World Series now.
Okay,
first one, right?
Year two.
Okay, so you've had a year under your belt, and now you've seen it again this year. If you could not just change one thing, but like if you could enhance one thing about the College World Series, what would it be to make this event even more special than it already is?
Ooh.
Because I'm critical.
That's a good one.
I'm so weird. I'm like, let's do this Friday, Saturday, Sunday instead of Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That's just like my opinion.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people are just like, well, I can take off Friday or I could take off Monday.
Right.
That's beside the point because this is a night game.
Now
like I could work, go tonight, and then now you tailgate on Saturday, and it's like Sunday you maybe have like a middle afternoon game where you're not feeling like, oh my gosh, everything is like, I got to take vacation at work.
You put me on the spot, but I do have two, and I'm glad that you brought that up. Yeah, the 2 off days are probably a dagger for a lot of fans traveling in. Like Friday, Saturday, Sunday makes all the sense in the world. That's a really good one.
It's a dagger for teams too. We were just talking about how they have to sit back and kind of wait for their day.
Get out of you get antsy in the hotel. You want to rock and roll. So that's a great one. The 2 that I'll sit on, they used to do it pre-COVID. There should, without question, on media day, be a home run derby.
Oh goodness, the home run derby talk.
I'm like, what are we doing? I would do it on media day the day before.
I love it. So let me tell you my one blunder on this show. Okay. This was year 1 of the College World Series. I was so passionate. Like when I get on a topic, nothing. I don't hear anything.
Sounds a little bit.
I don't hear
a little similar to someone I know.
Jack, I'm talking with Sasha and Anna. And I'm like, there needs to be a home run derby. Like, why has there never been a home run derby? So I'm using terminology. That is like those type of words. And I'm going into detail. Anna's just letting me talk. Anna sits back, and I go into it. I'm like, can you imagine seeing the Hispanic Titanic just boot balls over the fence? Like, can you imagine? We had Kyle Schwarber and all these other things. I'm like, this would have been so fantastic.
I think Schwarber actually did do that.
You made me go and find my credentials after that show.
Yeah,
from the home run. I had to go find them.
You didn't believe it?
It was about the same feeling when you were in a frat party in college and you didn't hit a cup in beer pong and you were sitting under the table. Like that's how I felt after my take. It was such a great take because I spoke the past into existence.
Someone else had that good idea too. You were spot on.
No, but I am totally with you. Like, I don't care if you give them rolled bats or what. Like, let these guys. I want to see how far somebody can hit a baseball.
Let's go to work, dude. To me, resurrect the home run derby. It's an absolute no-brainer. The implementation of the Golden Spikes Award last year, in my opinion, I'm a pretty big college baseball junkie. Team USA is doing a far better job of marketing this award. I had no idea that it was even associated with Team USA. So last year they built it up. Obviously it's Skeens and Cruz and Cags. So they're all playing in the game. This year they did an unbelievable event out at Baseballisms. They're pushing this big time. So we're already getting the best players in the world to come. What's the harm in inviting 6 or 7 more to come hit some bombs on Friday night? It would sell out immediately. It would do huge numbers. In minutes. No brainer.
It'll be nationally televised, and it would blow up. And here at the ballpark,
if you're worried about college guys not wanting, but like their agent wouldn't want them to do it to get hurt before the draft. Wait a
second. In the year of NIL, these guys would do anything.
Dude, be like,
to get their hands on,
throw on a Raising Cane's jersey and hit some ding dongs.
Not only
no
that,
brainer.
What about a prize at the end?
Like 100G.
All right, let's talk about 100G for a moment. I know plenty of people that would give up whatever is happening.
Title rights. This is a no-brainer. Like you sit back and go, this makes too much sense, right? So there's that one, and then the other one. You want to hear me get really passionate?
Yeah, hit me. Don't literally hit me, but
in 2016, Coastal Carolina Cinderella School wins a mid-major national championship. It's this historic deal. and they do it at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
3 years ago, the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, college baseball is growing. Buckle up. It's the truth. The numbers are like the proof's in the pudding.
So you're saying on TV this
to
needs to
win
be
a
7 o'clock
national
game.
championship in daylight
Or 6
and
o'clock
dog pile at 2 o'clock in the afternoon is disrespectful to the hard work that they go into. And like, in my opinion, if someone goes and wins it tomorrow and the sun hasn't set, like it's just feel. They're saying, right? Your national media is saying it's not our priority. It didn't get primetime viewership. So we're going to play it at 2 o'clock where we usually play bowling and like freaking cornhole. It fires me up. 3 years ago, right before COVID, cornhole quite literally was played over ESPN major national networks more than college baseball, right? The game's growing. Buckle up and grow with it.
So it goes back to my point of Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
100%.
Because if you can do a Friday night game, you can then do a Saturday night game. And then on Sunday, if and when it came to this point, you could start the game at 4.
No doubt.
Or 5.
No doubt.
Like a Super Bowl.
Well, the
Super Bowl started at 5:30.
Right. But the problem is it doesn't matter day of the week. They're not doing it at Sunday night tomorrow night because there's Sunday night baseball. So we're going to watch regular season game number 71 tomorrow in a 162 game slate instead of these guys' most important moment of their lives to this point. Oh, that's cool.
Man,
nice.
Take it up with Disney. That's
awesome.
going to be a hard one.
Oh, dude, I'm hot. I get so hot about this because it's so real. Like, I'm not saying college baseball will ever be college football or basketball, but if you marketed it, and you talked about it just like women's sports. Look what's happening now. We're talking about women's sports, and they're freaking going crazy. Let's take some gasoline.
Well, one player.
Yeah, overall.
But
I know what you're saying.
One superstar does it. And so it's latching on to a superstar.
Right.
And so maybe
it's just telling a story.
Maybe
right?
it's the buy-in more toward a superstar that can then transform what you want.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I agree with that too. I would make the argument. It wouldn't be a good talk show, by the way, if we didn't talk about Caitlin Clark this time of the year. But I would make the argument that like Dawn Staley at the South Carolina women's program and LSU, like these rivalries, right? It's almost like WWE. There's the heel and the hero, right? When you narrate and market it and tell the stories in a just manner, right? Same with college baseball. Like if we did that for this sport, and we didn't play it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we see viewership numbers hurt because of that.
Well, you'll see it grow over time. Yeah. It already has. Like if we really looked at the numbers, and we don't have them in front of us, but you'll see page after page, viewers are up for college baseball. Because at some point in time, you just have to be like, this guy's going to get drafted by my team.
Yeah,
like if I'm in a pro market, like I see in most mock drafts, Vance Honeycutt's going to the Phillies, right? Well, if I'm in Philadelphia, I'm like, I'm watching UNC.
I'm locked in.
I want to watch this guy play. So you're right. It's telling the story, but it's also vocalizing the sport.
Yeah.
And showing that even a time of day matters.
100%.
Even that matters.
I think it's showing your hand a little bit, right? Like I understand that the Super Bowl starts at 4 or 5 o'clock. Like, let's say the Super Bowl, but like even 4 or 5 o'clock is better than.
Well, that's exactly what I think you should do on a Sunday.
Yeah, because I'm going to lose people if we start at 7. I'd fall asleep through that game too. But yeah.
So there you have it.
Dude, you got me hot. I like it. That always fires me up.
This is how we end things for a CWS final. There is so much juice to this matchup. We just added a little more of our own flair on top of it. A little bit of salt and pepper. That's all we were missing. Yeah. Gordon Ramsay's trying our dish right now, and it's like, these guys know how to do it. Thanks for joining us for Rogers Rules. Jack, thank you so much. Enjoy whatever's happening on the inside. Whoever you want winning, I hope it happens. I hope it happens for you.
Hey, dude,
hold it in.
I want game 3, and I want like 27 innings game 3. I want it all.
Jack roots for baseball.
Yes,
Jack doesn't root for a team. Jack roots for baseball. Thanks for joining us for Rogers Rules. We'll be back next week. Don't worry. It won't be CWS time, but we'll be recapping it a little bit. You'll hear more stories about our own Hurrdat Sports individuals, the great team that was out and about at this great event. It's probably going to take up the next 2 weeks. So
good.
Maybe, you know what? Let's break this right now. Well, Jack will be on our team at some point in time.
Ooh,
it's going to happen.
Let's get frisky. I'm in. Yeah. Come on,
it's going to happen.
Talk to me.
For those of you, I will.
Let's go.
I'll give it to you. I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
We're having a lot of fun here at the CWS. If you want to come down, come say hello. We would love to see you. It's been another edition of Rogers Rules.